Hi everyone, it's Sharon here, live on Essential Stencils page, ready to do another DIY project. If you're watching the replay of this video, then you can comment the word replay within 24 hours after the live for a chance to win some prizes. But let me know where you're tuning in from as you're watching today, as you're joining us. And we'll get started in just a minute as soon as I start to see your comments coming through. Hello, how are you today? Let's go down. See if I can see them on my live here. Hello, hey, we've got a few people jumping on now. So it says comments all appear. There we go. Kimberly's the first one that I saw. Hi, how are you, Kimberly? Elise is here. Now I can see them. I love it when you can comment and then I can see, okay, we're here. We're live. Action. So as you can see, I am from the blog IRESTORESTUFF and I'm an Essential Stencil ambassador here on a Wednesday night for you guys. But as you can tell by my accent, I'm from Australia. If you know someone who has never seen one of our lives before, why don't you share this video with them right now? You can just hit that little share button and sprinkle the love over there on Facebook land. Whether it's a friend you might know, you could message them or share it to your feed. We love it when you can do that and let everybody know that we're going to be doing some DIY projects today. And I've got wildflowers, spring wildflowers. It seems to be the theme of my projects today. I've got two projects on the go and another one that I wanted to show you using sunflower transfers that I won't be showing you today, but I want to show you what I've started, and I'm going to create a little video that you might be able to see on my page, which is IRESTORESTUFF. So I'm at IRESTORESTUFF on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, wherever else you want to jump in on social media. Hi Mary, you've been stenciling all day with your spring collection. I'm so excited. So hopefully most people have their spring collection if they did pre-orders, but guess what? Today, this week, probably yesterday, the spring stencils are all available to everybody now. So no more pre-orders necessary. What's on the website is there for you to purchase. So we'll be going through some of those today. So if you maybe bought the spring bundle but didn't buy the bee bundle, all of the options of the bee, the beautiful honey and bee theme are there. You can pick and choose individual stencils now, as many as you like. Use my code IRESTORESTUFF and you can save 10%. Okay, so don't forget to do that as you jump on and have a look at those spring stencils and the bee stencils. So many fun things there, and that includes the transfers. So we've got the Easter transfers with the cutest bunnies. They're still available, and hydrangeas transfers, all of those are there ready to go. Hi Elizabeth, your stencil of the month arrived today. What? That's exciting. Some people are getting their spring bundles. Hi, who is, oh, you're going so fast. Michelle's here. You'll be stenciling tomorrow, spending the day prepping and staining boards. That's a great idea. I love that you're doing that, Michelle, because a lot of the times when you want to do a whole bunch of signs, some of you might make them at markets, sell them in your shop booths. I have a booth space in an antique centre here in my local town in Brisbane. So if you're from Australia, hello, go and check out my store in Brisbane. But a lot of people make them in bulk, and so when you're doing that, you do want to prep a bunch of signboards all at once and have them ready to go. So these are actually just plywood boards. My husband had this big sheet of plywood that was just, I don't know, he was going to get rid of it, and I said, nope, don't get rid of it, I need it. So I had him cut these into sort of stencil sizes, sizes that would be good for stenciling. Some are longer than the others, some are shorter. This one I'm going to use today, I'm going to be using a couple of different stencil sets on, and we're going to paint the background in a minute, but I'm also going to be showing you a stencil using some other stencil sets, a combination. I love doing combinations of stencil sets, doing it on a calico bag. So let's paint the background of this one first, but I wanted to show you the stencil sets I will be using today so that you know what I'm using. One will be this 6-pack set, Whimsical Wildflowers. It has 6 in the set, so when it comes time I'll show you all those that are in the set. We've got the 3-pack of, this one's called Pencil Flowers, 3-pack with a bonus. So there's 4 little stencils in that pack. Gorgeous. It's an odd shape that then Essential Stencil usually produces. See how it's a little bit different than the minis, which are these 6x6 stencils. So it's, let's see the measurements of that one, 4x8. So that's a new size. So there's that. That's what I'll be doing on this board. What I'll be doing on the calico bag is a combination of the Welcome, Spring Welcome is what it's called, Spring Welcome 2-pack. And what this stencil is actually great for is those door hanger rounds. So you can see the picture there. It's got the Welcome, and then it's got this beautiful Wildflower bunch here that's in a circular style to go on those large rounds, and so you put one at the top, one at the bottom, and the Welcome in between. I'm going to be using that in a different way, combined with this pack which says Grow in Grace, and it is a 2-pack which has a beautiful wreath with Grow in Grace, and the one that I'll be using today is Consider How the Wildflowers Grow, a verse from the Bible. So I'll put that aside, do that in a minute. We want to paint the background to my board. Pop my glasses on so I can actually read your comments properly. Ruth, so excited for our craft night tonight. That is awesome. Guys, don't forget to share the love, sprinkle it around. If you want to hit that little button and let your friends know that we are live now. Also use my code IRESTORESTUFF and save 10% off anything in Essential Stencils products here that we've got today. Now, we always link all of the products in the description of the live, and Essential Stencil will be popping up a pinned comment to the top showing all the different things that we'll be using today also. And our brushes. So don't forget, we've got our brushes. So you can get 10% off the brushes as well using my code. Let me just see. There's 4 different sizes. I'm seeing if I've got all the right sizes here. 5/8, 7/8, 3/4. Must be a 1/2 inch missing. There we go. 4 different sizes in the brushes. All right, let me point the camera down a bit so you can see what we're working on. Brenda ordered more of the bunny transfers. They're so cute. Too cute to pass up. They are gorgeous and so easy to use. All right, I'm going to create a lovely dark background. So what I did to prep my board here was just to make sure I sanded off the edges, because sometimes when they're just literally cut with the saw that my husband used, they can have some rough edges. And I want to probably paint these. I tossed over whether I should tape off the sides and create some kind of a little stained border here. But I think for time's sake, I might just paint it straight over. I may even, in the end, I could even add a frame to this and create a frame out of other wood pieces, thin wood pieces. So this is the color Midnight Blue from Fusion Mineral Paint, and it's a lovely dark blue. So it creates a lovely midnight background for our beautiful wildflowers here. I may have to do 2 coats because this plywood kind of soaks up the paint a bit, or we could just leave it looking fairly thin like a stain. You can use the Fusion Mineral Paints as stains. Now I do have an affiliate link. If you do want that for the Fusion paint, let me know. But you can use any of your craft paint or acrylic based, water-based paint is what I prefer to use for any of your projects. And I'm just using a nice flat Klingon F30 brush. I don't know if you have retailers that have Klingon brushes, but they're a really good brush. I'll probably have an Amazon link. I've got it in my Amazon shop. If you want that link, let me know. I do have like a link for a list of supplies that I often refer to or get from Amazon for stenciling specifically. So for, backgrounds to stencil on boards or calico bags or things like that. I've got a list on my Amazon shop that has all those in it. So there's my painting technique. If you missed that, nice long smooth strokes. My blog, IRESTORESTUFF.com, is full of furniture painting tips and techniques. So if you're interested in painting furniture, which is what Fusion was specifically, this paint was specifically designed for, if you're interested in any of that, go check out my blog, IRESTORESTUFF.com. You can actually subscribe to my blog and receive updates of any posts that I might, post about. I recently painted something and put it up there on my blog. So it's a dresser and it's beautiful. So that's a nice deep color. I kind of think that looks solid enough for my background. Now that's still drying, so you can sort of see the lines or the strokes right there. But I'll let that sit to the side as we start with the Calico bag project. And then if it's not dry properly, I can always hit it with the dryer in a minute. Now I want to make sure this is sort of dry before I put my bag on here. Okay, here it is, and here's what we'll be using. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, you can check out my blog. It's IRESTORESTUFF.com, because that's what I love to do. Restore furniture and home decor. So here's a Calico bag, really simple and plain. You might have these at your local craft stores, or, like I said, I've got an Amazon shop link. Now I did put a piece of this, it's literally Australia Post. Look, there's our postage. Big package came with something in it, and I thought this is perfect for offloading. So I've just cut it up into pieces, and I've actually put some of that inside the bag, because we don't want our paint to come through on that. So it is, Linda, I love that shade of blue, the Fusion paint. Okay, so the two stencil sets we're using for this particular project, and they're all linked in the description of the live, is the this one, which is called Grow in Grace, and this one, which is called Spring Welcome. Okay, made specifically for the rounds, but you can use them. Combine your stencils. That's what I love to do. Combine your stencils, use them for all sorts of things. Maggie, you're excited to see the bag. You've never done those before. Awesome. Well, I will show you what I'm going to do with this bag. So I want to use this beautiful Wildflower design up here for the top of my bag. And you could use it for the bottom if you wanted to. You could make it look like the wildflowers are growing down the bottom. And then we're going to get this stencil, and I'm going to use the one at the back. So this is a 2-pack set. Now, if you didn't get any of these in yours, if you got the spring bundle, if you pre-ordered the spring bundle, then you would have both of these. So I'll show you something that you can do with those today. If you didn't, maybe you bought the B bundle, maybe you didn't get anything. You can buy these all separately now on the website. So we've got this beautiful wreath. Now, here's another way that you could combine this stencil set with something else. You could use just the wreath and tape off the words and put some different words on the inside of here. You can check, there's so many different little mini sets like these that contain fun sayings that you can use this wreath for just about any other little mini set that there is. But I'm going to be using this one today, and I'm going to take off this top section here, or just tape it off, not take it off. I'm going to tape it off and use Consider How the Wildflowers Grow, because that just suits our theme. And it's from Luke 12:27, and I'm trying to decide which way I want to go, with the wildflowers at the top or the bottom. So that's it with them at the bottom. I like the way that they go like this for a round, but we're using them for the bag today. So remembering that I'm going to tape this off. In fact, let me do that now. Just using a bit of masking. Oh, no, sorry, painter's tape. Painter's tape is probably a better idea because it doesn't stick as well to painted surfaces, and so it's good for when you want to get it off quickly. Now, before I do stick it down, I'm actually going to, see how it's very, very tacky? I'm actually going to lay it down on the fabric and hopefully collect a little bit of lint, and it just makes it not stick as much onto here, and it's a lot easier to pick up without sticking to the little stencils and lifting them and bending them out of shape. So that's what I'm going to do there, because this is where I just don't want to accidentally get my brush to go over. Let's see what you're all saying. Someone says at the top looks good. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with at the top. So that's what I think I will do. So let's see here. I could leave these flourishes down the bottom on here. Now, if you are watching on your phone, you know you can swipe off the comments so that you can see the full picture. But let's see if I can get this down a little bit further for you so you can see it all. Okay, so we do have these flourishes down here. They go okay with the rest of the flowers and everything, so maybe I could leave those in. Making sure my cardboard insert comes out past the stencil that I've slipped inside. And let's see, so I might put the base down first, the bottom, the words and everything, and I'll do the wildflowers next. Bonnie says those latest bundles are fabulous. Yes, Elizabeth's asking the question, does the rub-on transfers stick to canvas? Now that's a good question, and they do. Yes, they do. They even stick to fabric. In fact, let me show you something that I'm working on, and if you follow my page, I Restore Stuff, I'm going to show you a little video that I'm starting to make with putting the rub-on transfer on a hat. So there's just a sneak peek, but you have to follow my page. I've got some more to add on there, and later on I'll be popping up a little video on there on how I did that. So they do stick to canvas and they do stick to fabric, and it's kind of an experiment, guys. So don't ask me if it's washable on fabric because I don't know yet. I don't know. Does anybody know? Has anyone done the transfers on fabric and knows if they're washable? All right, I'm putting this tape. Notice where I'm putting it, close to this floral flourish. No, it's a flourish, that's what we'll call it. Just in case my brush might skip over the end there, but it's not too close, so it's not bad at all. And then I'll just pop one up here. This is just going to secure my stencil in place. Remembering I'm leaving this off because I'm going to pop this other stencil on the top of that. Now, because it's a white stencil on a white calico bag, you can't see it very well, but we will just quickly do those in, what colour will I do? I might actually go with, and I've got my offloading paper here. Look, it will probably stand out a lot nice, you know, a lot sharper if I do use a darker colour. So why don't I just use this midnight blue that I was using for the other project, and I'm going to use a large brush. Now you can have a couple of sets of these is probably a great idea on hand, just in case you wanted to. Oh, someone's asking what my page name is. My page is I Restore Stuff. So it's just at I Restore Stuff at any of the social media platforms. So I Restore Stuff, all one word with the @ symbol in front. Will find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and my blog is IRESTORESTUFF.com. Just type that into Google and it will find me straight away. That also happens to be my code if you want to save 10% at essentialstencil.com. So there you go. All right, I've dipped my brush into the midnight blue paint, and I'm going to offload as much as I can here on the paper. And now I'm going to go onto the fabric, and it probably will soak in, I'm thinking, because it's calico, which is a cotton usually. Do you guys call this calico? I know we have different names in Australia for different fabrics and things. I think we call Hessian what you call burlap. So just kind of make sure I'm using the right lingo, you know? I have to switch from my Aussie words to my American words when I'm doing this sometimes. Canvas, Bonnie says. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. You call it canvas. Yeah, canvas bag. Well, there you go. So in our stores, in our shops over here, it would say calico bag. So canvas bag, there you go. I had that feeling, you know, I had this feeling, but you probably knew exactly what I was talking about. I know, you all knew what I meant. It's a natural fibre fabric, which is fun, blank canvas to work on, really. So when someone commented before then, here's a question. when, and I can't remember, sorry, I've forgotten who it was, who just said, we just talked about putting the transfers on canvas. Did you mean a canvas like a painted canvas? Or did you mean canvas like this calico bag? See, now that's got me confused. So, but whether you meant canvas as in the bag or canvas as in the artist's canvas, yes to both. The transfers, the rub-on transfers will work on an artist canvas and they will work on fabric. So I've just showed a sneak peek of something that I'm working on, and I'm going to create a little video that I can put up on my IRESTORESTUFF page to show you how I'm putting some sunflower transfers on a cap. It's actually a ponytail cap. I've never had one before, but the weather over here, it is summer. Well, it's just turned autumn here in Australia. The 1st of March is supposed to be the 1st of autumn, but as we know that seasons don't automatically change overnight, do they? And the summer is hanging on tight. And the weather is humid, sticky, and so ponytails are the go. So I bought a ponytail cap and thinking I should have a go and see if I can put a transfer on that. So I'm doing that. Follow my page at IRESTORESTUFF, and I'll post that up sometime. Might finish that off this afternoon. I know it's evening there, but it's morning here, and so I have all day to play with my sunflower hat. You can heat set acrylic paints. Yes, Kim, you can. So as I'm stenciling on this canvas bag, or calico as I would call it, you can heat set this. Now there's a couple of ways to do that. You can reverse the fabric, you know, turn it inside out, or just lay it on its back and use a hot, dry iron. Don't put the steam on. Iron it on a hot setting. Well, as hot as, well, it's canvas, so it's cotton, so it will take a high heat. So you can do it that way, or you can pop it into a hot dryer for 15 minutes. Yes, Bonnie, I like a ponytail hat. It gets your hair off your neck, absolutely. And I have curly hair, and it's just like having wool, wool on your head. Like imagine that in the middle of summer. Like it gets so hot and humid in my head, the back of my neck especially. All right, so this is the Bible verse down the bottom, Luke 12:27, where this verse is inspired from. Okay, so I'm doing nice swirling motions, and if you're a beginner to stenciling, if you've just joined us for the first time and watching our lives for the first time, please let us know that. We do give away prizes. Did I mention that? I probably did in the description of our live, but I haven't said it here yet. But we give away prizes at the end of our lives. So stay tuned and join in the conversation. Let us know where you're watching from. Ask any questions. If you're brand new here, we'd love to know that too, because we want to welcome you. This is just such an amazing stenciling community. But if you are new, you'll notice that I've been swirling like this, and you're thinking, how is the paint not going underneath and getting fuzzy edges and bleed through under there? Well, the reason is because I've offloaded as much as I can, so my brush is almost dry. And so that's the key, is offloading, so you get a dry brush look, and I'll show you how that turns out. Nice and crisp lines, because we've used hardly anything. So see how dark it almost looks black? That is actually a deep midnight blue. So there's, consider how the wildflowers grow. And I'm thinking of doing some colour on my wildflowers up here. So I've got my brush here, but I can either pop that in a plastic bag or put it in a wet cloth, because if I want to use that same colour later, that will come in handy and it will stop it from drying out. Oops, let's see. I'm missing some of your comments here. I love that saying too. Yay. Okay, so here is the one from the welcome round. So it has welcome stencil, and you can put this on a round for your front door. One of those good door hanger signs. Okay, so I want to grab a bit of this tape from here just to tape these ends down. Fits perfectly on this calico canvas bag. And my second project that I've got going is I've painted, if you just joined me, is this Midnight Blue. We painted that board as a background. I only did one coat on that. So Midnight Blue is one of Fusion's colours that has absolutely excellent coverage. And, you know, as in most paints, it really depends on the pigments used and all of that kind of thing, that some colours cover a lot better than others. But yeah, that's one of the colours that you hardly have to use any paint. All right, so we've got that on the bottom. I want to maybe use a few different colours here. So let's go with, I might use this Fusion's Conservatory for some of those leafy branches on here. This is just a beautiful green. It's a vintage green, really. You can use my affiliate code for Fusion Mineral Paint if you wanted to. If you don't have a retailer near you, they just ship it to you straight from Canada. Yes, don't forget to use my code IRESTORESTUFF to save 10% on any of the stencils we're using today. That includes your stencil brushes. Let's see, I might use this smaller 1/2 inch brush. So use smaller brushes for smaller areas. And here is my offloading paper I'm going to use to do that. Now I can see that there's a bit of bumpiness happening back here. It's not so flat because we've got the calico bag, the canvas bag handles. The stitching and the sewing is kind of making that a bit lumpy here. So what I'm going to do is work with this with my hands down on, you know, pushing it down as we go. So grabbing a bit of paint on the brush. Now that's too much. It looks like I've hardly got any on it, but it's actually still too much. So I'm going to offload that onto my canvas here. And this is all dry now. It really dries very fast. Working that into the bristles. You can see I've got still a little bit more paint right there. And working this into the leaves and the stems of these flowers. And then we'll do some colour on the wildflowers. And it's interesting how some paints, like this green colour, looks different on different surfaces. So this on the calico seems a little darker than it would on a piece of furniture. So when you're doing a few different colours, you could, if you wanted to, tape the tops of these flowers, if you wanted to just tape off those stems to make them accurate and exact. But I'm going to just try my best not to get it on the flowers because I want to use the colours for those. And I probably am using slightly, just a little bit more on my brush than I would if I was doing it on a flat board surface. So if I was doing it on a board like this, I might use a little bit less paint because the bag is soaking it up. But I still don't, it's a kind of a balance between, you know, to really get the right amount on your brush. And so I do recommend practicing on a piece of cardstock. If you want to practice on fabric, practice on a scrap piece of fabric first. I mean, these calico canvas bags are quite cheap, really, so you could even practice on a scrap piece of this type of fabric. It only has to be a little strip for you to practice on, just to sort of see how much paint you might need on your brush before you start your project. Okay, so we've got some more, and this is almost a eucalyptus colour. It's a little bit greener. I think eucalyptus might have some more grey tones in the green, but now I can get into a bit more of a swirl because I think these leaves are a little bit rounder. And wow, that brush load had enough to go all down here and right around. It's amazing what you think that you've offloaded a whole bunch, but there's enough to do a bunch of greenery. Thank you, Angel. Said I love how it's turning out. Me too. I think it's working well. I'm just looking over some of these edges here. I was a little bit hasty and didn't get them all right to the tips of them. Okay, this looks like a little bud. So not sure whether to do that green or not, but see how I'm kind of pushing down with my hand on the area that I'm going to be working on. Oop, I got a little bit too much green on the, I think I might do that bud anyway, because sometimes those buds are a little bit green. Hopefully I didn't get bleeding underneath. So the key to not getting fuzzy edges on your stenciling is to offload the paint as much as you can. I kind of feel like I had too much on the brush right down there. Maybe I didn't offload it. Did anyone see me? I don't know. Sometimes I do things and then I don't. Did I do that? I don't know. All right, so we've done that greenery section. I don't need to pull it up just yet, no. So I'm going to be using that green probably for my other project that I've got here on the side with the wildflowers. So I want to pop this into a wet cloth. So I've just got a wet cloth here, popping that in there so it doesn't dry out in between the coats and things. I do have a few brushes left, let's see. Now I want to do some colour. So let's have a look at some of the colours that I do have for flowers. I've got yellow here, I've got some rose water. Oh, I didn't bring anything else. This is it. It's going to be pink and yellow. So, well, you could do white daisies here, couldn't we? But I don't think they'll stand out very well on the canvas. Yes, I said bud, not bug. Okay, using a 5/8 inch brush to do this one. And yes, I'll do that. Just dipping a little bit in there, and again, we're offloading that onto our piece of cardstock. You could use a paper plate, anything you like. I just love to recycle stuff. Might as well use it. It's going in the trash anyway. Okay, now I'm going to add the yellow all the way around these little, whatever they are, daisies, I think. And that's sort of blending into the green of the stem there. So let's do these ones yellow. Now you could add a few more details and add a little bit more brown to that center or whatever color you'd like to do that. So many different options. A little bit too much on my brush there, so I've got to make sure that's really, so we'll do these ones maybe pink, let's do these ones yellow. So we're kind of going to do every second one yellow, but what other colors could you add here? Like purple, maybe, have some violets. It would be good if I could do some white ones. Even these yellow ones, I'm just a little bit worried how they might turn out on the canvas. May need some extra something. Okay, maybe we could do a few of these pink also. Maybe one of the buds will do yellow. And we'll do this one yellow, and we'll do the others pink. So we'll see how the pink turns out. We may need a couple of coats for those, we'll see. And like I said, I'm very close to the edge of those. It takes a little bit of skill to kind of get not on the leaves, and I may have missed a couple, but we'll see how we go with that. Oh, all right, popping that in there, put the lid on the yellow. Now that's a color called Little Star. That's another Fusion Mineral Paint color that you'll find. If you need that affiliate link, we can pop that in the comments for you if you ask any questions. Let us know. Now this is the colour Rosewater, lovely pink, but again, it could be too light for our canvas, so let's see. Yes, these stencils are all available. I saw someone just asking in the comments. So last week they were, probably set to coming soon, but they are all now currently available. Anything from the spring collection, including all the bees and honey bundles that we had available for pre-sale, they are all now available on the website. So grab yours and use my code IRESTORESTUFF and save 10%. Adding this pink here now. It is a little bit light. So what I could have done is maybe used something in the back behind it, like, I don't know, probably a dark color. I could have even used this midnight blue in behind it as a background to kind of make that flower stand out against the fabric, because the fabric is quite neutral, and this pink and the yellow are fairly light, pastel-y kind of colors. The yellow is bright, but it may just be a little bit light against the fabric, so we'll see. I do love this rosewater color though. It's really a pretty, almost a dusky, musky pink, but it's, yeah, I love it. Tammy's suggesting edge it with a darker pink. I could do that, couldn't I? If I had a darker pink, I could do that. So I might have to have a play with it after my live. I want to get this other project on the side here that I've got going. I've painted the background in midnight blue. Oops, I think I got my pink flower a little bit on the leaves. We'll see how this turned out, shall we? Let's see. And then if it doesn't stand out as much as I'd like it to, I can have a little play with those colors and just outlining it. Well, guys, that's not too bad. I think that's going to work. Let's have a look. So remember, I've got some cardboard inside the bag so that the paint doesn't go through to the other side. But look, I think those wildflowers turned out just beautifully on the bag. You can see them. You can see what it is. Consider how the wildflowers grow. All right, so let's get stuck into that second project that I have here, which is just a plywood board that I've painted in midnight blue. And I know someone's going to ask, how big is the board? So I'll just pop this aside for a minute. Got a bit of a wildflower theme happening here. So, oops, there's my little sunflower hat that I'm going to show you later. Yes, the midnight blue is a fusion paint, so it's fusion mineral paint, midnight blue. Use my affiliate link if you would like that. Let me know and we will pop that in for you. I do go through and check your comments later on, so if there is any questions or if you do want those links, let us know. If Essential Stencil doesn't pop them in for you, I will surely do that. Okay, I'm thinking in inches, right? We have Australian centimetres, but I will say it's about 14 inches by 7. And the sets that I'm going to be using this one are, so this is midnight blue. We painted that board earlier. And I think that I'll finish off these edges as well, probably with some midnight blue. I haven't decided whether I might add a frame around that too. We'll see how it turns out. So I'm going to use this whimsical wildflower set, and I'm going to use this Pencil Flowers 3-pack, okay? So the Pencil Flowers 3-pack has these in it. It says 3-pack, but there's 4 stencils because we've got this cute mini jar. Isn't that not the cutest little jar ever? So I am going to use that. We've got lavender. I'm going to use the lavender. I love it. And we've got these. Are they daisies? Daisies. Thank you, Sarah, saying awesome job on the tote bag. Dana, you got your brushes and your stencils. That's amazing. Can't wait to get your hands on them. That's great. And these look like poppies. So that's beautiful. And they all fit in these jars. So this is a little bit of a more unusual size. It's a 4x8 stencils. And you get that bonus little jar in those as well. So this is the Whimsical Wildflower set. There's 6 in this set. We have, she is a wildflower, very cute. We have Love Grows Here, which I think will work for mine. I'm going to, you know, tape over these and create Love Grows Here. I think that will be what I'll do for this one. We've got Stay Wild. That's cute. Looks like the wildflower that you, is it dandelions? And you blow the dandelions and the little seed pods fly around everywhere and create new growth. Grow Happy Thoughts. That is so sweet. And we've got Wild at Heart with a gorgeous, great big sunflower on it. And then we've got this beautiful envelope. I used this on a live a while back where I did gold foil on the envelope, and that turned out really nicely. So you can go back and have a look at that with these little wildflowers on it. Okay, so those are the 6 stencils that come in this pack called Whimsical Wildflowers, and that will be, we've got the link to that in the description of the live. The other thought that I do have, and these are part of the spring sets as well, is instead of up here, you could, you know, use any of these minis as well. So you've got Fresh Cut Sunflower set, which has some awesome mini sayings on there that you could combine this with. Also the Beautiful 6-pack with 1 free. So that's another cute set that's got actually 7 in it. And it's got some things like honeybees and flowers, please. I like that one, and that would go great up here as well. So there's a few different bundles in that bee set that would be so cute mixed with some of the wildflowers and things. So if you don't have any of those yet, grab my code IRESTORESTUFF, pop it in at the checkout and you get 10% off. So remember that. Okay, so we've got a nice long board. It lends great to this look here. I was trying to decide, do I do the flowers first or the vase first? I think I do the flowers first because you want to see the flowers inside the vase. So therefore, don't mind me, just talking out loud, thinking out loud as I do my project here with you all. Okay, so this one is going to need some tape on it. So I'm just going to grab that tape I had here earlier. Oops. Yes, Diana, we'll see you later. Thank you. You can catch the replay. Don't forget, guys, if you are watching the replay, you can comment the word replay and get a chance at winning a prize. And but if you are live here with me right now, we give away 3 lucky winners at the end of our live some stencils. So don't go anywhere. Oop, I'm just going to reuse this tape and tape right across here. So this is also going to be a little bit of a placeholder for where I will put my flowers. What did I say? We were going to do the flowers first, aren't we? So yeah, I will have to take this off, but I'm just going to take this for now onto the stencil. So that's going to be, you get the idea of where we're going with this. Okay, so there's my placement there. I'm going to place it all out, think where I want those flowers, making sure that my jar will fit down here at the end. And yep, that'll go there. I could even do this. So here I go with some tape. See how my tape, my vase, I don't want to center it. Do I want to center it? If I center it, I feel like the leaves are going to go, oh look, we can always flip it over. Let's do it this way. There we go. That looks a little bit more centered. And there's this, what do you call this? It's like a reflection, this little part here. It's like a glass reflection. So that'll be over on this side. And I want my flowers around about so that you make sure that the stems are coming outside the vase. What I'm going to do is pop this tape right down at the bottom of the jar, which I'd have to do anyway because that jar is very close to the edge, leaving it on my board. And now I've got my place exactly where I want the jar to go. That's where I want the flowers to go, making sure we're not going to go over the top of, off the edges of our flowers. And I can move this and I can place this down later. But what I can do is just flip this jar back here and it's stuck there where it needs to go. This is stuck here where it needs to go, and we're all ready to do our flowers. Lavender. Lavender is purple, and I didn't have any Fusion mineral paint in purple, but I also carry an Australian brand of paint, which is Artisan Chalk Finish, that has this gorgeous lavender colour. Oh, does it look lavender or does it look grey? It probably looks a little grey from the camera, but anyway, I'm just going to use that today. So yeah, it's not available. Well, you can purchase it in the USA, but it would be, shipping would be a nightmare. Shipping costs would be through the roof if you did want to order from me. I am quite happy for you to do that, but just a warning there. All right, so this is, I only need the very tiniest amount because this is going to go a long way, and we've only got a few lavender flowers to go with here. Now the other thing I want to do is use this beautiful Fusion Conservatory colour for the stems. I might do that first, and I had a brush that I had that on in my wet cloth here so that it didn't dry out. Okay, sit back down, Sharon, relax. Lois, you just got on. Yes, you can go back and watch the replay anytime. Yes, I love lavender too. My daughter is growing it in our garden. She is the green thumb in our house, and so I'm loving that. Love the smell of lavender. All right, so the green is going on the stems here and the leaves. And like I said before, in the earlier project, if you've just joined me, we have done a canvas bag, tote bag, and when you're painting on canvas, it's a little bit different to when you're painting on a flat board where it's hard, and the canvas really soaks up the paint, so you sometimes need a little bit more. Tammy, if you have blue and red, mix it to make purple. Yes, you can, and add a little bit white. I could have done that too. And I do have red and blue makes purple, of course, and then add white. Yes, great idea. Okay, little tiny stems. I'm trying not to get the lavender section where I'll be doing that purple or lavender. Actually, Fusion Mineral Paint does have, if you might be lucky to get it, I think it's a discontinued colour, but there's one called Divine Lavender, and I know it's discontinued here in Australia. I don't have any left, but that would be a good one to use too. Oh, got it. A little bit more. See, I'm offloading it here. Murray's asking, how do I set the paint on the canvas bag? And the way I do that is you can either toss it in the dryer for, or any fabric for that matter, if you're painting on fabric with the Fusion paints or any acrylic paints, you can throw it in the dryer, hot dryer, for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, doesn't really have to be long, or use a hot dry iron without the steam on, and iron it on the reverse. Okay, so we've got the green stems. Now I want to do the lavender, and so I'm going to use that lavender colour. Oh look, I'm going to use this this colour that had some rose water on it, some pink. I'm just going to use that, and I'm using a bit of it's an Australian brand of chalk paint. I really didn't need this much in my dish, but okay, so here we go. Let's see how lavender this is. It is kind of nice and bright. I could do that. All right, it still feels like there's a lot on the brush, so I want to make sure that's quite dry, and then I'm just going to do some nice little soft swirls, and I may get this on the green stem, but that's okay. It's almost pinkish. Maybe that pink is showing through on my brush. You can use a clean brush, obviously. Yeah, I agree. Fusion does go a long way. Yes, and iron with parchment paper over the stencil before ironing. You can do that also. Okay, just nice soft swirls will get your stencil really covered well, You can do a stippling motion also, but I find that that takes a little bit longer to get a good coverage. And this way you just make sure that your brush is super dry, super offloaded onto here, and then it'll turn out nicely. Okay, now that looks great. I think it'll look great. Let's see how it does turn out. Oh, beautiful. I love it against that midnight blue. Yes. And now I can take that stencil away, and I've got some nice crisp lines there. It didn't turn out too badly. So we can see the lavender and the green. That conservatory green turned out nicely on that. That's beautiful. And now I can, because I taped my jar here, you can kind of see, you don't have to tape it, but that was just one idea that you can do. Now these jar edges are sort of pretty close, so I'm going to take some of this tape, make sure I don't go over the edges. And I don't want to put the tape onto, see, I've left that sitting up. I'm not going to press it down because I've just painted that. Even though it's dry, don't want it to stick there and tear up any paint. So yeah, I do love a nice dark background sometimes for doing stenciling, and often I do white, but look, let's make this a little longer. So we've got this one, and this just stops my brush from going over the edge. I don't want it to go on here, so I think I'll use, I was going to use that as well. There we go. All right, so for the jar, I will use, let's see if I've got white on any brushes. No, I don't. Let's just use a white. And what sort of smallish brush have I got left? 5/8 inch brush. I've used all my smaller ones. So this is just a off-white colour, Victorian lace. Now, there will be prizes at the end, so guys, don't forget that. Join in the conversation. Who is new here today and you've never... Oh, there you go. I see Essential Stencils pop the links there for the stencils sets that I'm using today. There we go. I've put a bunch of white paint on the brush. Now I have to offload a lot of that, and I sort of work it into the bristles at the same time. And really this jar has such a tiny surface to do, I'm not going to need to use much at all. And you can always also use our detail brushes. These little tiny brushes here from Essential Stencil are called detail brushes, and they're great for closing in those bridges that are necessary for the stencils to be stencils. So if you did want to use those detail brushes, you can close your bridges on this jar or on the lettering or on any of your stencils there too. So, and you can use my code IRESTORESTUFF on anything in the Essential Stencil shop. That includes the wood tags, it includes these brushes, it includes the detail brushes, and all of the stencils and the transfers. So 10% off is a great deal. It's just a little bit left. Oh, here we go. We've got a bunch left on the paper here. I feel like I'll stand up to see this. Okay. Because it's white, sometimes white takes a couple of coats. It's sort of soaking into that dark there. There we go. Let's see how that turned out. And then we've got our words to pop on the top. I'll have to put my tape back on them. There's the jar, lovely, very cute. And then we'll put our words on. I'll use the white for these words as well. So I can sort of see, I'm centering that around about there, making sure I've sort of got a similar distance from the top of the words as I do from the bottom of the jar. Just in case don't think my brush should go over the edge, but you never know. All right. It is cute. Thank you, Carol. All right, so we've got our gorgeous little white jar there, some lavender, and now we're going to, this is from the set that is called Whimsical Wildflowers. So that's the set that's all linked there in the description and also the pinned comment. Thank you, Elizabeth. We are getting close to the end of our live, so very soon, as soon as I'm finished this Essential Stencil, we'll be picking some winners. And if you watch the replay, you can also get a chance to comment the word replay in the 24 hours after this goes live. And you've got another chance of winning some stencils. So Essential Stencil is very generous with their giveaways. Every weekday you'll have an ambassador here going live to show you some new projects. And if you are enjoying those projects, please join in the conversations, and you do get a chance of winning some prizes as well. But and many of you are in the Stencil of the Month Club, which is an exclusive club that you get shipped 3 stencil sets to your door every month, and that opens once a month, and we will let you know when our next open date is. But if you do want to have a look at that, you just go to stencilofthemonthclub.com, and you can see right there a place where you can pop your name down to be on their waiting list for them to notify you next time the Stencil of the Month Club opens. And so if you are a member, you get access to all of the club shop deals, but also get sent stencils every month, so that's always fun. But right now, the stencils we're using today are all available. All of the spring ones no longer have to do any pre-orders. They're all available on the site, and you just use my code IRESTORESTUFF and you can save yourself 10%. And I am going to think about how I want to edge this piece here. Now I'm going to go wash my stencils. I usually, because it's fusion paint, it does stick pretty well to that Mylar plastic stencil, and so I have to usually use some awesome spray or something like that, but got some little flicks of dried paint on there. I'll get that off. Okay, so here is Love Grows here with a gorgeous bunch of lavender from our tall set of flowers. So if you didn't get any of those in your bundles, you can just go buy everything singly now. You can kind of just have a little shop of whatever you think you might like, and that includes the, let me show you the bag that we did earlier. So there's that. It's a canvas bag. See, we call this calico in Australia, but you know what I meant. Consider how the wildflowers grow. I used 2 different stencil sets for that, all listed in the link description of the live up on the top. And then we used 2 different stencil sets for this one. And so those are the 2 that we worked on today. And I wanted to just show you super quickly, if you go and follow my page, I Restore Stuff, I will be finishing off this transfer hat, and I will be popping up a little video in there. So if you go like my page, follow my page, make sure you get notifications for my Facebook page or my Instagram there. You'll be able to see how I finish this off. I'm going to be transferring that, show you how I did that, show you how I might even seal it. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about that, how I might do that. So yeah, go follow my page at I Restore Stuff. That's all one word. So you use that for my code. You can use this at I Restore Stuff for all of your social media platforms, and you can find me there. All right, I am looking for the winners. I might have to, here we are. Congratulations, our winners today are, just got to find them again. You click on it and then the comment disappears. Our winners today is Sarah, Vivian and Anne, and you've all been tagged in that post, that pinned post for congratulations to our winners today. So you can let email, they've got an email address there to send your information to, and let them know where to send your free stencils, and let them know that you were a winner on Sharon's live tonight. So congratulations to those winners. And I had so much fun doing these projects with you. So yeah, go check out my Amazon shop and you'll find a bunch of these calico bags. If you don't find them in your local craft store, or if you'd prefer them to just ship them direct to your door, you can do that. love grows here with the lavenders and the calico bags. So I will see you next week for another fun DIY project. Thank you guys so much, and I will pop on now and have a look at all of your comments and see if there's any other questions that I missed while I was busy doing the stenciling. So I will see you next week. Bye.